Hello. Once again, it's that boy Alfred, and I hope you guys been up to good as per usual. And another Wakati Avenue video right here now. So, what am I talking about today? Today, I want to touch on a man's principles. Remember, we're talking about masculinity here. Being your own man and taking your own destiny in your own hands. And part of it is that as a man, you got to create principles. You have to have principles, principles that will guide you through tough times. It will guide you through decision making. As a man, obviously, you have to be good at decision making, and that's one trait that men have over women, basically, right? That we are better suited for making good decisions, because of experience, and that we are able to gather knowledge through other people, basically, and then use that knowledge to make good decisions, basically. So principles, having principles, your own principles, will help you in doing this. Principles also help you on when you have moral decisions, right? There's some things that require you to be morally, to basically forfeit your morals, basically, right? And I'm not here to judge people's morals. And every society, every ethnic group have their own sense of morals. In fact, different men, even in between those ethnic groups, between races or whatever, have different morals. The men in different, because we come from different backgrounds, we're obviously going to have different morals, because not only from different backgrounds but also different experiences and how we handle ourselves, the backgrounds of our spiritual backgrounds, basically, in our religious influences and stuff like that. So we're obviously going to have different sort of moral compass that we adhere to. So principles in that matter, right, will guide us through the morals that we have to, the moral decisions that we can or come about, right? Once you're principled and there's something that you think goes against your morals, it becomes easier for you to decide, are you going to do this or are you not going to do it? And that's one of the benefits of having principles. And one thing about principles I must mention, which is very, very important, it's good to be flexible, but at the same time, principles, you have to kind of stick to your principles. Make sure that you're sticking to your principles most of the times, right? It's good to be flexible, though. At times you may have to kind of abandon your principles. That does happen, because sometimes you're in a situation that is about life and death. There are at times there are decisions that you may have that will totally go against your principle. For instance, there's this I think it's a moral test, right? Or is it a principle test? It's a moral test, like when you take yourself as a, for example, you're someone who is a train driver, right? And you come into a fork train track, right, where it goes into the left and to the right. You're a train driver. It's an analogy, right? You're a train driver and you come into a fork train track where you have to go either to the left, to the right. And for instance, at that moment, you have two people who are stuck in that you have a couple of people who are stuck in both sides of the track, right? You have a kid, one kid probably stuck in a rail of that train track that is in the left, for example. And the second track on the right, you have a couple of people who are stuck probably in one of those cargos, train cargos, smaller cargos, but they will get crashed and killed once the train goes to the right? Maybe a couple of people, 5, 4. So this is one of those moral decisions that you have to make. Are you going to kill the kid, right, who's stuck, or are you going to go and kill these adults, for example, and who are stuck in that train cargo or train car or whatever, right? What's the decision that they're going to make? I know it's a bit morbid. It's a sort of a morbid example, but let's look at the moral of the whole thing, right? We're not here to kill kids or kill people. That's not the moral of the whole thing, but it's to question your principles. So you find that people create different scenarios and different morals. Some people will say, I'm not going to kill the kid because he has a future ahead of him. I don't know if it's going to be killing, but it's a fatal accident. So it's a fatal accident, but let's just say, okay, I'm not going to kill that kid, but I think these adults are right. Of course, we're taking consideration that the train doesn't have any brakes. It's just an example, right? So I'm going to go on the right to these adults who seem already probably seen enough of the world, and I'm going to save that one kid. But at the same time, another person might say, these are many people, so I may not sacrifice these adults for one kid. So it's all moral within your own principles, within your own morals. And this is exactly why I say morals are not wrong unless they're going against the law, right? The law of the land or the place you are in, right? And it's not even that's wrong. It's just it's unlawful. The law that's in that land is actually trying to protect people. It might not be saying that that's what you're doing is wrong, but it's trying to protect people. For example, right? Some countries do accept underage marriage, right? All right. Now, I'm not here to argue whether that's wrong or right, but it's just an example, right? They do accept maybe a 16-year-old to get married. Is it wrong or right? I'm not there to argue about that, right? However, some countries believe that 16 is underage, but biologically, a 16-year-old can still bear children, right? And the 16-year-old girl can bear a very healthy child, right? Biologically speaking, right? That's possible, and it's been that way, right? If you go back in history, that's been that way, right? However, when the laws are passed, they're looking at advancement of society, right? And then you see the thing is that the 16-year-old now isn't able to make decisions, right? She's not able to make her own decisions. So the law is actually protecting her. So it's not like really morally wrong, especially in some society, but it's just protecting her because she cannot make those decisions on her own, especially if an adult is involved and he wants to marry that child, you see. So there's really nothing wrong with that or whatever, but or morally wrong in my eyes, but the law is just protecting people. So my point was that if we are going to have our own morals, right, we should be able to self-govern ourselves and protect also others so that they're not damaged by what we do, right? So it means that we should adhere to the law and also make sure that our morals do not actually make others uncomfortable, right? as long as it's not breaking the law anyway. You're still going to make other people offended. You're still going to get other people offended if you do something. But at the end of the day, people who just easily offended usually are just trying to protect their own ego and their own belief system. But like I said, in order for us to grow and become better, we need to accept other people's beliefs, especially as long as they're not breaking the law or they're not causing any harm. Just because you're offended does not harm. You're just sensitive. That's it. If something offends you, right, you're just sensitive. And but unless it harms you, right, especially physically, So morals should not harm others physically, right? However, we should accept other people's morals, however offensive they are. We should learn their perspective, and that's part of man's principles, right? And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about a man having proper principles and morals, right, that he has to adhere to. As a man, as a masculine man, you got to have principles, and there's no way around that. Otherwise, you won't really be able to really associate with other men who have those principles, men who do not take their principles lightly, right? The other men who really adhere to their principles. If you come if you want to associate with them, you have to have a code of conduct that is principled, right? And this is why you find a lot of patriotic associations, right, very successful because they have principles. Even the syndicate type, the criminal type, the Yakuza, the Japanese mafias, even the Italian mafias, or even if you go down to South Africa and you have your Tsotsis, they have sort of tenets and principles that you have to adhere to. You don't just do whatever you want within that hierarchy of men. No, there are principles. Even if it's a criminal syndicate, there's still going to be principles. There's still going to be principles within. You watch any sort of mafia movie, right? You find that their code of conduct within those mafias associations, right? And this is how organizations are supposed to be. You can't be having weak men who just do whatever they want to do. If you get out of pocket and you're out of the associates principled man, because you have decided to associate with yourself with such an organization. And I'm not saying go and join the mafia or the Yakuzas or the Tsotsis or whatever, or any sort of gangster, whatever. No, I'm not saying that. It's just an example. If you're going to associate, you have to adhere to their principles, and there's also sort of a moral conduct. For example, there's some most men who, even criminals, or who are in criminal syndicates, right? They don't treat molesters well, right? If you're a molester and you go about molesting little children, right? You're gonna get killed, no doubt. You even if you're taken to jail, whatever, you're gonna get killed then, because it's one of the lowest of things a man can do. There's plenty of women out there. Why the hell would you want to molest children? So they don't take that to heart, and you cannot associate yourself with such. Even criminals, right? Even criminal syndicates won't take you up if you're such a person. There's a low type of person. Then you have your backstabbers, also people who just do not have proper morals, moral compasses. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to touch on today. Man's principle, man being a principled man, having morals, proper morals. Now, don't forget, I'm always also saying that you are still human. You have to be flexible. There's some things that you may have to some situations that you may have to kind of be flexible about, but standing firmly with your principle, that would make you much more, at least, respected within whatever association or whatever endeavor you're trying to achieve. With that said, it's been your boy Alfred. Till next time, peace.